We'll say that again. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our session on elevating joy in your career.
I am Liz Bronson. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. I am the VP of People at SupportLogic, a 80-person startup out of Silicon Valley. And before that, I was a consultant with my own consulting firm. And before that, I did product management and product marketing recruiting at VMware. I'm also a mom of two, a wife, and a dog mom of two. So I've got lots going on in my house, and I'm so thrilled to be here to talk to you about career development and elevating your career to bring joy to your life. And I'm here with my podcast co-host, Kat Troyer.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kat. I am CEO of Jigsaw Solutions, and we do leadership coaching, feedback training, and employee satisfaction programs. The leaders we work with understand that there's actually a connection between happy employees and productive, successful companies. So Liz and I met years and years ago. I think it was like 18 years ago, Liz. I looked at that and was like, no way, I'm not that old. We worked together on the frontline staffing team at Barclays Global Investors, a financial services firm that is now BlackRock. Yeah.
BlackRock.
And so Liz and I got to know each other really well, and I'm so grateful that we have stayed in touch. And Liz is someone who I consider to be on my personal board of advisors. Personal board of advisors are people that we recommend. We recommend that everyone has a personal board of advisors. These are people that you completely trust and know that they have your best interest in mind. And they're the people you can turn to when career stuff comes up, when you might have a challenge, when you have someone you want to something you want to celebrate. I call Liz and I'm like, that thing? Well, look what happened. And Liz is like, yeah. And she also has, taken me out of deep holes when I've been in challenges, and she, reminds me who I am. So I am so grateful to have Liz on my team. And a few years ago, she came to me and said, Kat, I got this idea for a podcast. And I said, I think it's a great idea, Liz, but let's wait 6 months and talk again, because it was a really busy time for me. And so we're just now we're in our third season of Real Job Talk. And we created the podcast to give straight up advice and practical career advice to mid-career professionals. And we're super honored and thrilled that Real Job Talk has been featured on Mac's list as a 2022 top career podcast for their podcast guide. So that's kind of fun. And we're super excited to be here today. We want to share a couple of our favorite tools with you to help you to know what you want, to know what you don't want, and then to put together a plan that will help you to elevate joy in your career. So let's get going.
Let's do it. And Kat is 100% on my board of advisors as well. I could not be doing this thing without her. So we decided to start with a little poll. The first one is, and here we can see what's going on. How happy are you in your current role? Are you over the moon? Oh my gosh, I love it, I love it, I love it. You're like, it's a job. It pays me like all the time, every few weeks. Or are you miserable and want out? So answer the first question. And when you're done with the first question,
I'll give you just a second to answer that. And then our second question is, how engaged are you at work? And first choice, I'm engaged and excited about what I'm working on. Second choice, fine, satisfied, it's a job. And third, I'm tuned out and just going through the motions.
All right, so we'll give it a couple more seconds. And dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
So it looks like, wow. So in the first poll question, at the front is fine, I'm satisfied, it's a job at 59%, followed by over the moon, AKA loving it at 32%. And there are 9% of you that are miserable.
Okay. So we have some room. We have some room here to get happier. So that's our goal. Okay.
And on question 2, it is a very close race. There 41% say they're engaged and excited about what they're working on, and 38% are back to fine, satisfied, it's a job. So again, our goal today, to elevate joy in your career. So we've got some tips and tricks for you, and also some information.
Now, do we have the slides up there and we just can't see them? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well done. Great. They're here.
They are here.
Okay. So we're going to start by talking about science and happiness. So science shows us that happiness impacts our energy, our engagement, and our impact. And a simple Google search on happiness and career is going to be overwhelming with the results. So we have cherry-picked a few stats to share with you today. So in 2017, a study by Caleb Papineau, who is an author for the blog Tiny Pulse, he found that workplace happiness is related and improved by productivity and creativity. His study showed that happy people are 31% more productive and 3 times more creative than others. And that happiness, get this, happiness improves business profitability by 147%.
140%, 7%, Kat. That's like, I want my teams to be like glowing if that's how they're going to produce.
Well, and also happy teams are more fun to work with, right, Liz? We know that. We always had fun working together.
Sure, and they're gelling. It's all good.
Yeah. So a Gallup poll found that engaged employees generate 21% more profit than their disengaged counterparts. So happiness and engagement really do lead to profit and productivity. And so we had to look at the Harvard Business Review to look at things that contribute to job satisfaction. And according to the HBR, employees who feel that their managers and superiors treat them with respect are 63% more satisfied with their jobs. And that increases their engagement over 50%. That means for those of you who are managers, the happiness of your team really makes a difference. And it's going to impact the success of your team. So know what makes your people happy and do what you can do to facilitate that. All right. And according to FlexJobs, 83% of millennials consider work-life balance, which we see as overall life happiness, as the most important factor in choosing a potential job. So when we're happier, our energy is better. And when our energy is good, people respond to us differently. It's just the way that it works. And the thoughts and the strategies that we use are going to impact our experiences. So Liz and I are here today to support you in owning that you are the CEO of your own career and to encourage you to take the driver's seat to elevate joy in your career. So that's science and happiness. And what can we do to make ourselves happier?
100%. And I will tell you that not only are you the CEO of your career, but we're also going to give you some tools in order to embrace that position. Yeah. But first, let's talk a little bit about mindset. And one thing I love about my kids' school is that they teach about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And growth mindset being all about challenges help me grow and I learn through my mistakes. And if I work harder and work at something, I can get there, versus fixed mindset of like, well, I can't, so I won't. That's my son's approach to spelling tests. Well, I can't do it, so I'm not going to study. Well, guess what happens when we don't study? We don't do well. Oh, self-fulfilling prophecy. Good times with tweens. And the founder of the growth mindset movement is Dr. Carol Dweck. And she found that students with more open and growth mindsets were more likely to be at the top 20% of their class. And the students with a fixed mindset were 4 times as more likely to be in the bottom 20% of your class. And we understand that opening yourself up to failure is also opening yourself up to vulnerability. And in some corporate cultures, that's not safe. And in other corporate cultures, that's truly embraced. But our challenge to you is to think about your mindset in terms of opening yourself up for growth opportunities so that you can really find your joy in your career and in your job and in your company or in a different company. So we're going to try to teach you to bring that growth mindset into your career and realize that when you have a little bit more control over your happiness, perception can also be key. So if the perception is, I can do this, and these are the steps I take, versus I can't do this, so I won't even try, it changes everything.
Yep.
And
build in that you're going to make some mistakes when you're new at something. It's normal. And this, we kind of live in this perfectionistic culture, and we're saying throw that out the door as much as you can, right? You're new to something, you may make a mistake, so what? You're learning along the way.
And when you're in a growth opportunity, have faith that you're putting in that growth opportunity because people believed you could do it. And so rely on that as you stretch yourself, learn, and explore.
Yes. All right. So we've got this fabulous quote from Brene Brown.
Our hero.
Yes. We have a Real Job Talk episode all about Brene Brown's Dare to Lead, which is one of our favorite episodes. It was a little book club that we did. So Brene says, I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It's right in front of me if I'm paying attention and practicing gratitude. And, gratitude is just one of the most powerful things that we can practice. If we're going to pick up a practice, it might as well be gratitude.
Yes. And thinking about what we're thankful for and what we appreciate in our lives and our jobs, it helps us to move things forward and to focus on those things and to bring more of those things into our lives. So we are going to teach you about the ideal job list and the must-have list. And those for us are our two North Stars, our guides to decision-making around career moves and career changes. So knowing that we'll be better in our jobs and our careers, the happier we are. Knowing our mindset around growth and opportunity could determine our success in happiness and in growth. Here are our two concepts. The ideal job list and the must-have list. And you're like, wait, look at culture. I'm seeing overlap. But these two lists are actually really different. Yet they both need to work together in order to help make holistic decisions. So let's get right into it and talk to you first about the ideal job list and what that entails.
Okay. So the ideal job list, this is the time for you to dream big.
Yep.
This is the time to really sit down and think about, what is it that I want? What is it that I love to do? What is it that comes so easily to me that I don't even think about it as a skill? Yeah. Those are all those things you want to write down on your ideal job list. And before you really kind of dive into that, you want to get yourself as present as possible in the now moment so that you can bring all of yourself to the table, not, the stuff that's worrying about, what you said in the meeting last hour or worrying about your to-do lists. Just like take a few deep breaths. I always say, feel your feet. Because when we feel our feet, we feel our connection to the earth, and then we know that we're here, and it helps us to be here now. So, since you are the CEO of your own career, you understand that it's important to know what you want, and you understand that it's just as important to know what you don't want.
Yes.
So this requires some real self-reflection, and you've got to give yourself a little bit of time to brainstorm. So I like to think of this as an ongoing process, right? You go through this process where you do the brainstorming, but both of these lists are kind of like they're alive, right? They're going to change as external reality changes, as our situations change. So think of them as kind of live documents that will evolve as you evolve. But when you're looking at your ideal job list, you want to, this is the type of thing where if you could write your own job description, what would you write?
Totally.
Right. And this is just do it. Don't, all of those, like, if you have anything in your head that says, oh, I couldn't do that, tell yourself to just, put yourself aside for right now and just play. Okay. This is the play, envisioning, think about things you love about your work and the special skills you have that you bring to the table. Write it all down. Think about your past jobs. Think about where you want to end up in your career. Think about, hey, do I need any training or certifications to help me to get there? Write that down. And really think about, what impact do I want to have on the people that I reach? Because one thing I know, our world needs people to have an impact on them, right? We can have an impact. We can have a positive impact. We can increase our own happiness, and hopefully with our own happiness, that stuff can rub off, right? So I think it's important also to think about, what do I need from a self-care perspective to be able to function optimally in my ideal role, in my ideal job? So whatever you come up with that, when you ask yourself, what do I need from a self-care perspective? If you get a ping that, okay, I need to be doing more exercise, or gosh, I should pay more attention to my nutrition, or, my nutrition and my exercise are good, but gosh, I'm not sleeping well. Right? Whatever comes up there, write it down. And then I think that you should schedule it into your calendar, because when we practice good self-care, we have more energy. It impacts our energy as well. And that translates. So, whatever
the ideal job is like the North Star. This is like, this is where I want to go. And this has elements of past roles and future roles that I want to make sure are part of my life and part of my story. Right, Kat?
Yep. So that ideal job that list is going to be big. It's going to be huge, right? That you want at least a few pages, right? And then when you're refining that, you go back through it, and the things that are your non-negotiables, you bold them out, you underscore them, right? The things that are, and then that is once you're at that point, Liz is going to walk you through, how do you really get clear on what it is that you want and what it is that you don't want. And that's your must-have list.
Yep. So now it's practical time with the month. Oh, wait, first it's funny time, because Kat and I are hilarious. So we wanted to share this cute little cartoon, because I know I love ice cream, but didn't end up being an ice cream taster, but just, little humor. Before we get into the must-have list. So must-have list takes that ideal job list, and it takes the map of where you want to go from that ideal job list. So like Kat said, certifications or classes or experiences that you need to have to get to where you really want to go. And your must-have list says, what can I do right now? So I saw on the Q&A, what if what you really want to do is not in alignment with your financial responsibilities? Must-have lists include your financial responsibilities. And hopefully there are parts of the things that you want to do that do align with the financial role you hold, or maybe those parts of what your ideal job is, you get through volunteering or something outside of what brings in the finances to your home. But your must-have list is really about practical.
Yep.
Not to say that that ideal job list doesn't come in, because the ideal job list is thinking about, what do you want to do? What brings you joy? What brings you energy during your day? But this is about commute.
Yep.
Do you have time? Kat loves the story. I worked with a woman once. She was like, I'm miserable. I need a new job. I'm like, you've been there 4 months. She goes, yeah, but it's 2 hours each way, and I have a toddler. And I stopped myself. I had a filter from saying, why would you take a job with a 4-hour-a-day commute when you have a toddler? But it was her dream job.
Yep.
But it's not her dream job, because her dream job doesn't include 4 hours a day of commuting. So this is the questions of like, what do I need to get out of work? What are the parameters I need to put around work? Maybe I need to work from home. Maybe I need a certain salary. Maybe I need to not travel. And so this is where realism comes in. I will say, I have 2 children. They are almost 15 and almost 13, and when they were little, I worked part-time because I had a spouse that traveled, and I couldn't work full-time and run my home. And before I took my current role at SupportLogic, my husband and I looked at, what do we need to keep this house running, to keep our kids cared for, and all of those things. And we mapped out responsibilities, and we added certain things to what was happening in our home, so that I had what I needed to take this job. The must-have list is the practical.
And that includes if you need a certain amount of money to make your bills, that's on your must-have list.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. And if you need to be able to travel whenever you can, what do you need to put in place to keep your household running so you can travel? If you need to work certain hours for this job, how do you get those hours out of your day? So how do you have that time for self-care, for exercise, or for the things that you need? So it's really thinking about what in my job brings me energy, lights me up, making sure that the job has those things. Do I like big company? Do I like small company? Do I like certain kinds of work? Do I hate certain kind of work and never want to do it again?
What kind of relationship do I need to have with a boss so that I can thrive? You know, if you're not good with a micromanager, write that down. You want a boss who trusts you.
100%. So this list is your non-negotiables. So back to my little example of the person I knew who had her dream job that was 4 hours a day commuting. Must have for her should have been no more than 15 minutes commute. You can't ignore the things on your must have. And when you're looking at a new job internally, externally, you need to be highlighting, asking questions related to your must haves.
Absolutely. So, you know, if you are looking for a job, that must have list. I mean, the ideal job list is great, right? The ideal job list helps you to shoot for the stars, right? To helps you to have goals that are big enough.
Helps you to make a path, like on a game board, the path to the game of life. It helps you with the path. But your must-have list is for now.
Yeah, and it's non-negotiable, and it may change as seasons change, right? It may change as things change in your life.
100%. It will change as things change in life. 100%. So, Kat, what do you do with these lists once you have them? Once you've really worked on them?
Well, you know, if you are, you know, if you're in a situation where you've decided, okay, it's time to find another role, whether that's in the same organization or going to another organization, that must-have list is going to be your checklist when you have an offer on the table. And if that offer does not meet the majority of your must-have list, Liz and I are going to tell you to trust and to say no and wait for the right role, because we do better in jobs that are better fits for us. And if your must-have list is not being met, you're not going to bring your best self to your job, and that's what you want to do.
For sure.
What else? Develop questions. Right? If you are interviewing, develop questions to establish if the role is a good fit. And this is where values come very much are going to help you to know what your values are. And then you can ask questions to decipher in the interview process if the values are aligned. And yes, you are the interviewee, but if you are interviewing for a job, it is just as much your job to be interviewing the team that you're going to work with to make sure it's a good fit for you. And you are the best authority on what's going to be a good fit for you.
Oh my goodness, 100%. I always tell candidates, I'm like, look, what do you need to know? Because your life changes, mine doesn't.
Yeah, right.
And they are like, oh, that's kind of funny. I'm like, why wouldn't you have a million questions? You're going to commit 40 hours a week plus to this place. You know, I might interact with you once in a while. What do you need to know? And that's where I want to hear about values and remote work and all these other things that are on people's must-have lists. How do we do career development or things like that? It's so important. And so something to think about when you've got these lists, and if you're feeling stagnant, you want to think about, okay, what are my steps to use my lists to unstick, to go move towards happiness? So it's about thinking through, what do I need to do? So like in January 2021, I was thinking about my plans for the year. I'm like, I'm feeling really stagnant in consulting. I want to go back in-house. I talk to people like Kat on my board of advisors and be like, am I crazy to want to go back in-house in this kind of role? She said no. And then I said, okay, who can I network with? Who can I put it out there to that I'm open to this? Because nobody's going to think ooh, would they want to do this? Would they want to do that? You've got to put it out there and put ideas into people's heads. So I put it out there. I started networking, and all of a sudden conversations happened.
And in less than a year, you were in your new position, which I told you would be before the end of the year.
She's kind of clairvoyant like that. So, but again, I looked at my must-have list and I said, what do I need?
Mm-hmm.
So this was my ideal job. Come in, VP of people at a startup, build everything from scratch, go do it, make it happen. Love it. What do I need in my life to be successful in that?
We did a coaching session
Yes.
late last year with a listener of Real Job Talk who has a great career and had a few pending offers and just wanted to touch base with us. And he said, oh yeah, by the way, I've got 2 little ones at home and my wife's about to have another baby in October next month. And once we heard that, we were like, whoa, are you sure you want to take on a new role, which requires so much extra energy right now? Or wouldn't you rather just kind of stay where you are and enjoy, have the time and the energy to actually enjoy your new baby and to be there to support that process?
Yeah.
And we talked to him recently. He ended up staying in the role for 4 or 5 months. His boss got promoted and he stepped into that role with a really nice salary increase, and is super happy that he paid attention not only to his career, but the other stuff that's going on in our life, because that is key. And also, I think it's super important to say, if we are putting all of our happiness coins in our career bank, that may not be the best way to have happiness in our lives. Like, we want to have healthy, happy, fun careers, but we got to have stuff outside of work too. So, ask yourself, is this time to actually, put a little bit more energy into that hobby that I've wanted to do forever, because maybe that would make me happy too. Because we bring our whole selves into our career, and our whole selves are more than just the work that we do.
100%. So moving on to I hear all of you in your heads. So I must need to quit my job if I want happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is no. There's a question in the chat about someone who's happy, likes the company, but feels underutilized.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so the answer, do I need to quit my job? No, but do you need to say, I'm ready for a challenge? 100%. When I was talking to someone a couple of weeks ago, they said, I've been in my role for a while. I think I'm ready for a change. I said, what do you want to do? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Well, it's really hard for your manager to find you the I don't know challenge. Mm-hmm. If you say, I'm interested in marketing, I'm interested in sales, I'm interested in this, they can guide you. It's their job.
Yeah. So go into those conversations having done your research so that you're clear on what you want, what you don't want. And then at least have some ideas on some of the steps that you can take to get there. That is going to be a much more productive conversation than going in and saying, I don't know, I feel like I've got this, I feel like I'm doing this job really well, but I feel like I could do more. Yeah. Instead, maybe ask yourself, what does the business need? What is a current challenge that the business needs that I could actually help with? Maybe I could lead a project to do X, and come with ideas. Your ideas may or may not get accepted, but at least you get credit for having ideas.
Totally.
And not being I don't know.
If you're feeling underutilized, how could you see yourself being utilized and tell your manager or someone that could utilize you in that way? So when we're thinking about happiness and we're thinking about nice to haves and must haves and ideal jobs, do you like the company? Do you like what they do? Are you excited about their mission and their vision and their values? Do you like the culture? Do you like the team? And then if the answers are yes, then think about what maybe could be next for you there.
One of the situations that I see when people come to me for career coaching is, I love my job, Kat. I love my job. It's just I've been in my role for 7+ years, and I realize I'm not at market rate anymore because my company just does cost of living increases. And so people say, oh, so I think it's time to find a job. And I'm like, whoa, let's take a step back here.
Yes.
Have you talked to your boss about your compensation? And if you haven't, that's your next step. But you want to go into that conversation prepared as well. So make sure you kind of know what job, what the market value is. And then go to that conversation saying, listen, I love it here. I love X, Y, and Z. This is challenging because I'm getting phone calls from recruiters that are offering me jobs in this range. And as you can see, there's a differential there. And I'm wondering, what can we do to get me closer to that? Because I'd much rather stay here than go. So I want to be straight up and have this conversation with you. And
so we are at time, Kat.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness.
So we may be going. Thank you for your questions. We will keep them, and I know there are other sessions starting soon, so we don't want to go over, but thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
And best of luck with your must-haves and ideal job list.
And if you have any questions, you can email us at realjobtalk@gmail.com, and we can take this conversation offline. Thank you so much.